Hey guys, welcome back, and in this video we are going to take a look at the inspector, not only learning how to solve this lab but also gaining some skills of how we can inspect elements in the browser. Yes, let's begin this instance, and in this video you are basically going to learn about inspector, the browser developer tool feature, and that's what we are going to learn in this video. So once you start your instance, you will be able to see an URL, right? So you do have two hints. One of them is saying that how do you inspect web code on a browser, and the second one is saying there is three parts. So yeah, let me open a new tab and paste this. And in this particular URL, you can see it's about saying to inspect me and what, how, and you can see when I click what, I made a website. When I click how, I used these to make this site, and they used HTML, CSS, JavaScripts. So maybe these are some three parts that you should take a look to get something else. So first is about HTML, right? So what, where in the website the HTML usually stored? Right, it will be in the page source, right? So once I move to the page source, I can see something interesting, right? So which is the 1 by 3 of the flag, and the first part is picoCTF true, something like this is what I get, right? So let me copy this into our notepad. Okay, so after that, we have something to inspect called CSS. Basically, you can just right click here and inspect. This is how you basically open the inspector tool in the browser, right? So you can also able to get that particular information not only from the page source, but also from here in the inspector. You can just expand the body and the division class, and here in the division class, you can also see the same, right? So this is something that you should definitely need to know, because in this video we are not only solving the lab but also learning something new that you don't know before. Okay, so we are moving to the console. This is something that we should understand. So we are having debugger, and the second is in the CSS. So this is basically the JavaScript, right? Maybe the third will be somewhere here. Here it is. You can see the third will be there. So I'm not going to take a look at that. So we have to visit the CSS, right? So where will be the CSS usually stored? So how we can find the CSS, right? The CSS content. So once you move there, the style editor, you can see these are the CSS, right? So when I scroll down into the my css.css, you can see I was able to get the second part of the flag. As I mentioned before, we are just not going to solve this lab, but also we are going to learn something new, right? So for that, we have a network tab, right? So this is something that you should definitely need to know. I'm just refreshing this page, and now I can see the things happening in the network. We have some status codes of 200, which is a success status code, and you will be able to see we have the CSS. My css.css is the CSS running here, and when I move there, in the style editor, you can see there will be two of them, right? One of them is CSS, and the next one is my css.css. The current thing that is working here is the my css.css, right? So yeah, and this is something called maybe CSS only. So anyways, I'm not going to do anything into that. Once you refresh the page, you'll be able to see some information in the network tab, right? So you can also view the storage to check if there is any cookies or something like that, which will be helpful in some labs. Okay, so we are just moving to the network tab. In the network tab, we have my css.css. Once I double click that, I was able to see the part 2 of the flag, which I'm just copying. Okay, so let us add that here. So I think I can just pretty much avoid the space. Okay, so now we have to move to the JavaScript, which is here, and here is our last part of the flag. So as I mentioned before, this is not about solving this lab, but also about something that you should definitely need to explore, definitely need to learn about the inspector tool, about these browser developer tools that you should definitely take a look onto it if you get a website. Okay, so you can pretty much visit the inspector. You can just go to the page source, and you can just go to the network tab by refreshing the page to see what is happening there. And you can also view the style editor to see something from this. This is usually CSS, and in the debugger you will be able to see some other information, right? We can see the my js.js JavaScript, which will be available in the debugger, right? So like that, we have storage. This is something that you should definitely need to take a look. So in the storage you have to look for the cookies, and you do have some other options available. You can just take a look at that if needed, but cookies is something that I recommend you to definitely need to take a look to solve challenges or to find vulnerabilities, etc. So anyways, when you move to accessibility, this is something that you will be able to see from there. Okay, so this is something that you should definitely need to check it out in a website's developer tools. So my aim is to show you the things that you should definitely need to take into the developer tools. Okay, okay, you will be able to understand that also, and you will be able to solve this lab also. Yeah, that's pretty much about it, guys. I hope this video is informative for you. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one.